Okay, here we have another practice match between Theory here in the blue Infernal, already getting scanned by albino, which seems like a very early scan. But if you're wondering why that is, it's to see, has he pulled a bunch of imps to come and Shroudstone rush me? If so, I should get ready for it. Although it looks like he's already going Creation Chamber first, which is not the common build. And maybe it's because he did see some imps pulled. This imp's coming back. Did Theory just troll him and pull some imps to make it look like a Shroudstone rush was coming and then put them back on mining after? That's, next level. This is why Theory's one of the best Infernals in the world. He saw the early scan and then tried to mess with it. But there's already an Argent out, and this Argent is Zodding the Hexen. And the Hexen decides to hokey pokey home. And we got Argents. Are we going to get any macro this? Is this like a... Okay, here we are. I'm like, what's the play here, albino? And this is albino's off faction, but one thing that's kind of cool about that is that I feel that when players play their off faction, they come up with slightly more interesting builds. When you're playing your main faction, there's often an established meta, and you're either deeply embedded in it or you have some variant on it. But when you play your off faction, you often bring insights from your other factions in that you think, hey, I'm going to play Celestial, but maybe I'll play it like a Vanguard. Maybe that's the way that albino does it. I know certainly when I sit and try and play Celestial, I want to play Celestial more like an Infernal, actually more like a Zerg is what I want to do. But you just bring in these sort of interesting insights might help you find different ways to play. Now, Theory has creeped his health camp and is now onto the speed camp. Meanwhile, these Argents are creeping from the high ground, those Shadow Mastiffs, and it took him a little bit of time to do that. But it looks like albino is catching up. More Argent production. Maybe slowish Argent production so that these arrays can be put up as well. But it's an array-based economy, not prisms this time. And it looks like we've got a couple annoying fiends trying to get out here. Although these early Argents are really helping to just make it easy to deal with some of these annoyances from the early Infernal builds. We do see a couple Brutes coming here. Are the Brutes... Is this going to become more than a little harass and become... an actual push? We do have Shravan's Watch going down here, melting one Brute, but it looks like they're committed to this power bank. They're going to try and take the power bank out, and I guess two Brutes kind of tank pretty well. That Morph Core coming in right at the last second to prevent capturing for Theory, and the Argents in the main base cleaning up the Fiends. One more Scout Fiend out here. I think that early push, certainly not an all-in from Theory, has been dealt with pretty easily with the fact that there were early Argents out on the map. And in fact, those early Argents are coming now. One Brute went down to the Shadow Demons, and now the Argents are on top of the Gaunts, taking two Gaunts out. Now, it's hard to say with the Observer AI, but it looked like sniping that Shadow Demon there. But at what cost? These Fiends getting on top of them. But they get back underneath the protection of their Arc Ship, getting a couple of those healing rays cast down on them. And Theory's heading all the way back. Brutes and Gaunts, but kind of Brute heavy here. Is it 1-1? 1-1. We have... Maybe Plague Axe is already here, but we have a Twilight Spire on the way. Let's see. Is there Plague Axes on these bad boys? Yes. There's only two Gaunts there. But look, they're all infested already. Maybe that was a Nightfall infestation. But one thing that I've been thinking about that we might consider in the meta for Infernal is that you really only need a single Gaunt to apply Infest, and if that's your goal. So I'm thinking maybe smaller Gaunt numbers. That way you can use your Therium on something else. Although this Force from TheoRy just completely cleaned up by those vectors, so not sure if that was wise moving out. Just a bunch of blood splatters on the ground there. But even with the small Gaunt count, you can still get a lot of infest on your enemy units. So maybe there's something there. Something I've been thinking about today. Those vectors can't take that, I don't think. That's my guess, especially that low health. Oh, but finding a cabbage up there. Healing up. And these units getting in the lightning boost from the speed camp. Here's two vectors out on the map. And they're just move commanding right by. Ooh, one of them, I'm not sure, did it go down? No, it didn't. Doesn't look like it did. Maybe it did. I didn't see it. Now trying to get some kills on these Gaunts. Some pretty good micro there with the vectors. But a couple of the vectors being chased away by those brutes. Two more Gaunts, lightning speed legs. I just don't think Gaunts want to necessarily try that tango with the vectors. The vectors just have a little bit more maneuverability. We got that nice delta jump recall, although, ooh, what, that guy didn't have a recall and couldn't get away. But again, maybe losing one vector while melting all those Gaunts. And now getting a little aggressive with a forward base, a forward Starforge as well. So more production here. Now the only problem with that, I think, is that vectors are an early to mid-game harass unit. There needs to be a transition here. Maybe Scythes are going to come out of there. Maybe some Sabers. But we probably need a little bit of frontliners, some Kree or some Argents to just do a bit of the tanking. Now TheoRy's gone to switch to Sprigs. And these Sprigs look like they're heading out somewhere. But these vectors are being annoying. Did we get a cancel there? Yeah, we got a cancel and a rebuild. I like that play again because Infernal buildings do not heal up, so any damage being dealt while they're coming up is just permanent. So you're going to come up at 50% health. And here it is again. Another cancel. No, that one ashes. Ashes made it, I think. Means it's dead. Now in white, we got blink micro here, delta jump micro. The reason why albino jumps on top of the units first in that situation is so that he has the ability to recall back, which heals his units as well. So he starts the battle with a delta jump on top, which seems very aggressive. Same thing here. Delta jump on top. Now he's able to tank a little damage from these Spriggans, and the low ones can just blink back down, get back up to, well, not full in this case, but whatever health they started with. Actually really good harass here, and getting on top of those imps there, managing to get some imp kills before the army came in. Now there's a single Hellborn here, same thing, another delta jump on top just to activate those recall. A huge Nightfall infestation there, capturing 5 or 6 of those, slowing them down and allowing the Gaunts to get on top of them, and managing to get a few kills on those vectors. The Arc Fortress is just sitting right up top here. Here we have albino acting as much as parting as he can, trying to get that laser beam ready so he can go melt some bases. But there's a Hellborn here. Ooh, and a delta jump on top. The vectors do not do bonus damage against the Hellborn, so that's not as good a sniping move as it is against light units. But still a ton of damage to that Hellborn. Still alive, though. Hellborn taking out his rage on the trees. Down with trees. Ooh, huge Flame Imp detonations from TheoRy. TheoRy's one of the best Flame Imp users out there that I've observed. He always researches it, and he loves to do that. You're going to try and kill my Flame Imps? Fine, they're suiciding on your units. I'm going to make you pay for that eco damage. Blast Node up now on the low ground is annoying. Trying to get that low Hellborn. But these super maneuverable units, we got a laser beam melting the base. And a huge Hellborn shot down from the high ground. Now TheoRy's kind of looking a bit thin here. He's got this other base trying to get up over here, but it's been denied a couple times. This base is now rebuilding. But these vectors, super annoying. Getting on top of the imps. Now remember those imps, there's one flame imp. But I do think a transition needs to be made here. They blinked. Where did they blink to? Holy moly. They're blinking all across the map, but they're on top of the Hellborn. Managed to finally get it. They're kind of low. They need to go find that Arc Fortress again and get some of its healing love. Maybe just chill for a second and go reclaim the health camp. That's how I play, but that's not how the pros play. The pros are in your face all day. And look at this, a whole new fleet of vectors showing up. I said they need a transition, but albino disagrees, saying we can do vector all day. And I think that's true to an extent. If you can keep the harass up, so that the damage you're dealing with them keeps your opponent on their heels, then why not? Keep doing it. If the harass is working, keep harassing. Jumping on top. Now that was super dangerous. Triggering the trample. I'm trying to snipe from the low ground, but that's not quite as effective. And again, waiting for this base to go up before bringing in the death laser again and just straight up death lasering. The Gaunts were trying to take out the Arc Fortress, but the Vectors came and leapt on top of them. Lots of bloody dead Gaunt corpses there, and that's actually a GG out of TheoRy.